Hey everyone, thank you for joining our live stream. There are a number of reported scams related to coronavirus, and we've received a lot of questions recently about how to spot and avoid them. So, our tip of the week is this: to protect yourself and your information from COVID-19 related scams, never share personal or financial information over phone, text, email, or social media. When we talk about COVID-19 scams, we're referring to coronavirus related fraudulent activity being committed to steal money or personal information from people. According to the Federal Trade Commission, COVID-19 scams have cost more than 18,000 Americans a total of $13.44 million since the beginning of the year. While you can't plan on being the target of an attack, there are warning signs that you can look out for to stay protected. Here are some common COVID-19 scams and tips on how you can avoid them. First, let's look at job posting scams. Job posting scams were around before the coronavirus, but as the number of people experiencing job loss increases, it's even more important to be aware of how to spot fraudulent postings. A scam job posting is a solicitation for a fake employment opportunity. Many times, these fake opportunities include job descriptions with details that seem too good to be true. They may offer salaries outside of the typical range for the role or offer a high hourly wage for reduced work hours. In some cases, you may receive an unprovoked contact about a job or receive a reply to your application immediately after submitting your resume online. An unsolicited contact about a job is not a red flag on its own, but in these scenarios, the interview process is expedited, often involving one short call or chat message followed by an immediate job offer. To help you evaluate the legitimacy of a job posting, start by reviewing the details like the email address and the job description. Getting an email from a suspicious email alias is one of the most common warning signs that a job opportunity might be fraudulent. Be cautious if you receive a reply to a job application or an unsolicited contact from an email address that looks similar to a corporate domain but is slightly off. A spoof domain is one that visually imitates a legitimate corporate alias using lookalike characters. For example, Indeed's alias is Indeed.com with a lowercase I, versus a potential spoofed alias that looks like Indeed.com but is written with a lowercase l at the beginning. Another tactic used to create a variation of a corporate email account that includes the company name followed by a popular email provider is an example like Indeed at Gmail or at Yahoo or at hotmail.com. It's possible for some businesses and startups to use Gmail, Yahoo, or other public domains for company communication, but consider taking a moment to check the company website to confirm that is the case. Another red flag is if you are asked to provide sensitive personal information like your driver's license or social security number during the application process. This information is not needed at this point in the job application process. As a general rule to protect yourself, never share a bank account, credit card, or sensitive personal information with a potential employer or anyone else over chat or email. Lastly, scammers may claim to offer a large payment or reward in exchange for processing financial transactions, like depositing checks or transferring money. In this scenario, the company may offer to provide you with a check to deposit that ultimately cannot be processed. Another type of scam to be aware of is related to unemployment insurance. Unemployment rates are very high at the moment. There have been improvements in the labor market since June, but there are still 17.8 million people being affected. COVID-19 unemployment insurance scams involve fake companies or a state agency impersonator offering to file and obtain unemployment benefits on your behalf. To file the claim, they could ask for your personal information and require a fee to submit. If you're seeking or receiving unemployment insurance, also called unemployment benefits, consider visiting Career One Stop at careeronestop.org. That's careeronestop.org. This is to find your state's unemployment insurance administrator and follow the instructions on how to file a claim through the secured process. When filing a claim through the website, you'll notice that there are no fees required to file and they do not ask for credit card information or other methods of payment as part of the filing process. Receiving an unsolicited contact about filing an unemployment insurance claim is a big red flag. Legitimate unemployment insurance administrators should never call you out of the blue or contact you through social media via private message to initiate a claim. Be suspicious of any caller asking for personal information over the phone or copies of personal documents in regard to an unemployment insurance claim. In a legitimate claim filing process, you should be asked to upload your documents to a secured website. Other reports of coronavirus-related scams include Internal Revenue Service impersonators contacting people about issues related to stimulus checks, overdue payments, filing extensions, or other tax-related topics. Some people have even reported robocalls offering stock options with biotech companies developing a vaccine for COVID-19. Older Americans remain one of the largest groups targeted for scams. They may be targeted for what are commonly referred to as grandparent scams, situations where a caller poses as a relative who desperately needs money. In these scenarios, the relative may ask you to wire money or to buy a gift card and then hangs up as soon as the card number or money transfer is received. If you believe you have received a suspicious call from a relative, hang up and call the relative back at their known phone number. It's best not to take any action until you have spoken to them directly and clarified the situation. While this is not a full list of all the COVID-19 related scams being reported, there are a series of shared steps that you can take to protect yourself if you've ever been contacted about an opportunity that seems suspicious. To avoid scams in general, do not respond to calls, text messages, or emails from unknown numbers or suspicious addresses. Never share personal or financial information over email, text messages, or over the phone. Do not click any links in a text message from a number you do not recognize. If a friend sends you a text with a suspicious link that seems out of character, call them to make sure they weren't hacked. Consider adding your number to the National Do Not Call Registry at www.donotcall.gov. This is to prevent telemarketer contacts. If you think you've ever been the victim of a coronavirus scam, contact your state consumer protection office and report it to the federal government. File a report with local law enforcement if you've lost money or possessions due to a scam. So in summary, be aware of job postings that seem too good to be true. To verify the legitimacy of a posting or employer contact, review the email address and company website. Never share personal information like a driver's license number or banking information during the interview process. Unemployment rates have been decreasing as the job market started seeing improvements in June, but if you're currently enrolled in or looking to enroll in unemployment insurance, file and monitor your claim through your state administrator's secured official website. There are no fees associated with filing an unemployment claim, so be wary of companies or individuals who offer to file on your behalf for a fee. For a more detailed list of other scams to be aware of, check out the Career Guide article, Common COVID-19 Scams and How to Avoid Them. All right, thanks again, and join us next week for another episode. See you soon. Bye.